Let's
What's
get
going
it.
on, everybody? Welcome back to Turn Back the Flock. Ohio State week. I had to go and get nobody better than yours truly, the CJ Verdell running back. CJ, how we doing today?
Hey, what's going on, man? Can't call it. Same old suit, just reheated.
So, taking it back to, September 11th, 2021. I just so happen to be a part of this game myself, so this is really going to hit home for me. But let's just start off from going into that week. I believe we just had a close game against Fresno State.
hmm
We all know what it's like to go into this type of game. Of course,
Oh yeah,
stakes are going to be high this for the game coming up with Ohio State. So just take me back kind of into the locker room, what was being talked about, your mindset, the team's mindset going into September 11th.
I think going into that game, I mean, it was a big game. Ohio State's a very well coached team, and it's got a great representation of players and everything. Just a lot of tradition in Ohio State. So I think going into the game, everybody was just everybody was just prepared. Coaches were on edge. You know how the coaches are. Practices, chippy. Everybody was just. I think it was. Everybody was more hyper focused in that game. I think everybody wanted to come out. And what everybody says about the Pac-12, and we don't really play anybody, competition like that. So I think for a lot of us, we saw this as a good opportunity to change that narrative. We were going against a great team with a lot of great players, and we really wanted to be able to showcase what we could do against a team of that caliber.
Absolutely. And, to kind of piggyback on that, I mean, we knew going in, like, they have all these first round receivers. It was a bunch of
Mhm.
first round receivers. They ended up having a first round quarterback. Even the backups were first round receivers when
First
you.
round.
So, going in, like, for what I think as a team, I think the same thing. We were hyper focused. Like,
Yeah,
it was, I'll never forget, even myself, that week. I wrote down every part of information I could about every receiver on that team. It was
yeah.
like not we knew as a team we were going to be prepared. Like no matter what, we're going to be prepared. So I also want your thoughts before we get into the game itself. I believe what night was it? I want to say because we went early. Was it Thursday or Friday? Now I don't remember which was. We went to
Uh,
the shoe. We went. Remember we went and kind of walked around the shoe just to
Walked around, see what it was. Yeah, get the
see.
feel for it and everything.
What
Yeah.
were did you have it? What were you thinking? Just walking. Guys had their different ways of going about it, but walking up and down the field, nobody's there yet. Big game. We know what the stakes are. Was anything going through your head as we walked the field?
I don't know. I've always been pretty level headed in any of the games that we played. I know this was a big one, but I think just walking around the field and everything, I was just more just looking at how big the stadium was, and like I was like, okay, there's gonna be a lot of people here. But for me, yeah, I was very focused. Like from the beginning of that week all the way up into the game, I was just very focused, and I just honestly, I just couldn't wait to get to that Saturday.
So boom, Saturday comes. We have an early game too. It's a big noon kickoff for us. Remember, it was supposed to be it's 9 a.m. for us, but
Right, exactly.
we practiced around that time every day anyway. So we were like, we don't even need to worry about it. Like
Right.
we were on the plane and remember we were stretching on the plane.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like because
Coach Bell
the
was not playing
vibe.
no games.
So we'll start off. We wore the all white that week. Swag is a big part of Oregon. Did you have
Yeah.
any specific swag for just games in general or this game? It's a big televised game. Do you have something specific you wanted to wear? What? Tell me
I
about
did not have I did not have anything specific I wanted to wear. I mean, I think this season was like my first season wearing a visor. That's the only thing, that's the only thing I can remember as far as swag for me. Like I think going into that season, I had started wearing a visor, so that was probably the biggest swag I had brought to that game.
So game begins. We kicked off first, I believe. We're dueling back and forth.
hmm
I guess just to even overall before we get to specifically your plays, the defense was 2 for 5 in fourth down stops. As an offense, seeing the defense hold up consistently like that against a high-powered offense, what do y'all think as the offense, as a collective, continuously seeing the defense go out and get big time stops?
I just know I was hyped. That whole game I was hyped, and then watching you guys go out there and do your thing, getting big time stops. It just for me personally, it just made me want to go ahead and repay the favor, so to speak, or like just play kind of complimentary football. You guys were doing your thing out there, so we had to capitalize on all the stops you guys were getting. Make sure we got the ball into the end zone. So that was the biggest thing for us, I think, is the offense.
Complimentary football, man. I love that complimentary football for sure.
Yeah.
But your play specifically, I mean, 20 carries, three catches, 195 all-purpose yards, three touchdowns. The first two runs, it was more of a outside zone type concepts. There was
Uh,
also the pitch. I guess take me into those plays, kind of what were y'all thinking from an offensive standpoint and just your vision, seeing things just open up like that. Tell me about that a little bit.
I think going in as an offense, watching a lot of film and the coaches had a great game plan. I think we had just seen like how the linebackers react a lot to the tight ends and stuff. Just moving them in different places, motioning them out. So we knew that left side was going to be open a lot just based on what we were doing as an offense. I think we called that play. I think we called that play maybe 5 or 6 times. I know Travis even scored on one of them too. Travis scored on one or two, or plus my two. I think just going in, we just knew that was going to be one of the biggest weaknesses, and we just had to do whatever we could to capitalize on that.
Now, of course, I had some plays in that first half,
Oh yeah,
trying to help my team out. The PBUs early,
oh yeah,
the even the strip. I wish I could have got the fumble on the kickoff. I like it.
right.
I feel you when we say complimentary football, but
Oh
the biggest thing in a game, one of the biggest moments is coming out of halftime. And
yeah,
we get ball first
hmm
and third down. Take me into that. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm gonna let you almost tell this story because Gus Johnson on the call, CJ Verdell. I mean, go ahead.
Hi,
This is your
Stephanie.
it's your time to speak. Go ahead.
Oh man, I just know coming in at halftime. Coach's big speech. Everybody just turned up. Everybody want to go out there and continue to play at a high level. I just knew we had to come out and keep our foot on the gas. We could not let up in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, that third down, gun, nice little inside zone play. I just remember that hole being just that joint parted like the Red Sea. Like, bro, I never seen no hole that big in that game. And then honestly, I just remember having the 17, the safety. He kind of took a bad angle, so just I didn't really have to do too much. Just a little cut inside, and to be honest, it was just home run after that.
Home run. I mean, that run right there with Gus Johnson on the call, I think special player for sure. And then lastly, we're starting to duel. They kind of worked their way back. 'Cause I believe we went up 21-7 around that time. I know, they started to kind of battle back.
Oh yeah,
They're
you
driving, and it's funny because I had missed an opportunity to get a pick on well, I guess their second to last drive.
got
But,
it back.
I come out the middle of the field, just tracking it from deep, and I get the interception. But
All right.
another moment where it's like, we're in this big game with 100,000 people. I remember we had walked out and we saw a sea of red. It was very few green and white. So, I make this play, but what did it mean for you? What did it mean because you had a great performance. Like, people will arguably say the two MVPs of that game are myself and you. And so seeing that play, we kind of have a feeling like we might have just won.
Right. We might have just won the game,
I
bro.
went a little overboard and I took my helmet off and ran down and but we
That
knew
was turned up.
I even sent a message. I can't say exactly what that message I said in the group chat, but I had said
Right.
to send a message. Like
You said
I I said send a message. I told y'all before we get on this plane, we are not coming back here without a win. So
exactly.
you see that what's going through your head as Tony toe tap on the sideline? What goes through your head at that point?
Hey man, exactly what you said. I'm not trying to fully like, okay, we just won the game. We obviously still got a little more game to play. But I couldn't help myself but to just feel that overwhelming sense of like just excitement. Like, man, we really just came in here against all the odds. Nobody, let's be honest, nobody expected us to go in there and do what we did but us. Nobody expected that but us. We was the only one preaching that, believing that. And honestly, when you got that pick, bro, I was just overcome with joy. I just couldn't believe. I was like, man, we actually came out here and did what we said we were gonna do.
KP running down the sideline with the towel, ankle barely work. He keep telling me, "Rinse
Exactly.
due, rinse due."
Exactly.
So I guess from that point, we get a big win in front of 100,000, and they're a couple things. They're coming in to Autzen this time. And, Autzen's a different place. We don't
I
have
should
a
be
hundred
rocking.
thousand,
I
but
should be rocking.
it's gonna sound like 100,000 people there.
Yeah.
Where do you think the team was from that point? And we know everything that happened after the fact, but even just we go into that locker room and going into the next week against Stony Brook, I believe. Where do you think the locker room was at?
I think I think if anybody who didn't on the team or like in the program in general, anybody who didn't have that sense of belief or that feel like, man, we can actually come out here and compete with anybody. I think after that game, they started buying into that. I think they started believing that themselves, and I think it showed too in like how we approach practice. Like, I mean, we always approach practice a certain way, but even after that game, especially, I think everybody was more, just more focused and really wanted to see how far we could go with this thing.
No doubt, man. Well, I appreciate your time. The Ducks have a big game coming up against a great
Oh yeah,
opponent, Ohio State. I'm sure we'll be tuned in. CJ,
oh
I
yeah.
appreciate you. Take care and go Ducks.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you for having me, man.